Welcome to the Trades Podcast, a podcast about the business of home improvement and promoting the trades to young adults. In this podcast, we talk with business owners, educators, and professionals about the benefits, skills, and related experiences of the home improvement business. Tips to help you with being successful from entry into the trades or established business owners. In this podcast, we hope to influence some young adults that the trades as a career is a great option leading to full and prosperous life. I'm Danny Torres, an MC, DJ, and podcaster, inspiring young adults by shining light onto career opportunities in our world today.
And I'm Jeff Mudd, home improvement contractor, writer of the Millionaire Carpenter series, and podcaster.
Stay tuned to 15 to 20 minutes of insightful tips.
Happy days, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. This is the Trades Podcast. I'm DJ Danny.
And I'm Jeff Mudd.
This is what it's all about right here, promoting the trades and speaking with business owners that can help give out the information to the younger generation. And, of course, we have none the other, Javier Payan with Payan Pools.
Hey, guys. How you guys doing today?
We're good. Excellent. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, feeling good. Been great to, just have you come in and talk a little bit more about an industry that we haven't touched base on, and get some information about your history, obviously. So tell us a little bit about Payan Pools, and a little background on yourself.
Sure. So we're Payan Pool Service here in San Diego County. We cover the whole county, and we've been in business since 1987, believe it or not. And I grew up in El Cajon, went to El Cajon Valley High School, and started cleaning pools right out of high school. I recall back after I got out of high school, I started cleaning pools and was attending both Grossmont and Cuyamaca College. And the college thing just didn't quite stick with me. I just, as I look back now, I remember feeling the pressure like you had to go to school because all my brothers and sisters were going to school, my friends were going to school, they were on that path. And it just never clicked with me. And I would always enroll and I'd always drop out. But I was always, cleaning pools since I was 18. And I've always had a job since I was 14. So, I just always loved working and, having a couple bucks in my pocket for, whatever, support myself. And I got an offer from my employer where I was cleaning pools at. And he was going to sell his business, and he offered to sell me one of the routes. And I was really kind of freaked out about it because back then I'm about 21 years old. And he offered to sell me a route for $23,000. And I did not have that money. And he offered to take payments over 5 years. And I said, you know what? How about I pay this off over 2 years? And just, that young cockiness.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to my mom and seeing what she thought about it because I was still living at home at the time. And again, I was always really insecure of the fact that I wasn't a smart student and my brothers and sisters were. And so the day when I mentioned that to her, she took all the pressure off by saying, hey, look, man, I don't care what you do. Just whatever you do, just be the best at it. And so that really resonated. It was like a bell rang and the shackles came off. And it's like, it's okay to do this. And so I started the business. And one of the funny parts is that I vowed not to hire employees because I didn't want those headaches. I didn't want to be an employer. I just want to do my thing, get up early, do my pool routes, and then, have free time. Well, that lasted a couple months before I hired my first employee. And then you get that rush because you're getting new business. And I just always love that. And now in our company, as we've gone through our ups and downs, I think we're about at 23 employees right now, cover the whole county, and we do service, we do repairs, we do renovations. We're a warranty service center for all the brands of equipment we put in. So really just kind of took it to a whole nother level. So nothing I thought I'd ever be doing, but I still love it 35 years later or however long it's been.
Yeah.
I still enjoy doing it.
That's amazing. I mean, and San Diego obviously is just a pinpointed spot for pool service and just for the industry, right?
It's fantastic. There's just a tremendous amount of pools. I think I'm sure the statistic is inaccurate, but at one point in time, this might be this is definitely an old statistic, but I understand there's about 240,000 pools in the ground in San Diego County.
Wow.
And there's a lot of work out there.
That's great. And I mean, I wanted to go back because there's that little gap right there, getting out of high school, and you were, what's that process like when you were searching, or, how you got the job with the gentleman that you bought the company from?
Yeah. So I started, my father died when I was 13 years old. I have 5 brothers and sisters. And one of my dad's buddies had a auto electric shop. So he asked my mom, hey, I can, bring on a helper out of your 3 sons, which is the most, likely. And they immediately said, Javier, because, my brother Ed was, he ended up getting a mechanical engineering degree and my younger brother Victor, was a gifted student, and he ended up going to Stanford on scholarships. And so they looked at me like, yeah, this guy's not the brightest kid. You might want to take him to do some mechanical work. And so I did that for a couple of years, and then when I was about 16, I was working at Muehlheisen Manufacturing. And my mom was a seamstress there, so I was doing that, and I did that for about 2 years, and then the company was going to move to Southeast San Diego, and we're out in El Cajon, and I had my big gas guzzler car that got about 7 miles of the gallon at the time, and I think I was making like $4.25 an hour or something like that. I said, well, I'm not going to drive across town for that, it's like for a part-time job. And so I started looking, and there was this opportunity for a pool service company. So I applied. I showed up kind of unannounced. The guy wasn't there, and just as I was leaving, he pulled up and said, "Hey, you here for the job?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Can you start tomorrow?" It's like, "Okay." This is like 1985, I think, in July. And so he was very motivated to hire someone, and I started working the next day. Loved it. I didn't like the fact that we started at 6 o'clock in the morning, but I loved the pace of it.
Yeah. And
I worked for him for about 2.5 years. And as he was going to exit, I think he had like 5 routes, and I was helping. Looking back, I can't believe I did this, but in the 2.5 years I worked for him, I was running routes, cleaning pools for him. But then in the last 8 or 9 months, I was helping him in the office doing billing, and I just hated it because I went from being out in the field to being in the office. And, looking back, it was a great experience, but it's not kind of what I want to do. So I took a shot at starting my own business, and really did not know what I was doing business-wise. I knew how to clean pools really well, but the whole business side of it was like super foreign, and really made a lot of mistakes along the way, and took a lot of hard knocks, but kept picking myself up and learning from it.
Yeah. Starting a business at an early age is definitely a whole new education that you're going to get every day.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to find out a lot, even just when you get those opportunities offered by an employer to like, hey, like, can you switch almost from a position on a on-site type of deal going back into the office? Those are like day and night.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
And, I guess looking back at the time, I probably didn't have the awareness, but like looking back, it's like, I didn't like that. I like being out in the field. And even to this day, I try not to work out in the field because I know my time is more valuable in the office and managing, but I do love being out in the field. Like, sometimes I'm envious that I joke to my guys, like, I pay you to do this? Like, I would totally do this for free. And well, we won't. But, we get into like electrical and plumbing. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, and I mean, you wanted to get out there, get your tan on, you know, living in San Diego, right?
Absolutely. Definitely. That's the lifestyle.
But I mean, that's not the persona, obviously, that Payan has nowadays, right?
Yeah. It's funny. I was talking to Jeff earlier about the mental model of a pool guy or a pool boy.
Yeah.
I think he described it as the shirtless pool guy, and I would always describe it as the guy in flip-flops with a dog in his car and, that type of a surfboard on top of his truck or something. And if you guys recall the original Bad News Bears movie,
Yep.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know, have you watched that, Danny?
Yes, the original. Yes, with
Walter Mathis. I guess he was a pool guy working out of a convertible Cadillac or something, teaching the kids how to mix some cocktails and help them on his route. And so there is that stigma. And one of the things I recall, my old boss, he used to say, "Hey, when you're out there, try to be professional." And at that young age, it's like, wow, I never heard anyone say that. So I always try to take that approach. And so when we would do things, we would always just try to do it better. I would look around to see how people do things, and I would try to figure out how to do it better. Like, for example, we're going back to the mid 80s, before, the pre-internet days, pre-cell phone days.
Yeah.
And, people would write their estimates by hand. And I thought, I'm going to step it up. I'm going to put my estimates on a typewriter, and so do that. And copy machines and faxes were just coming out, and so always trying to do things a little bit better. And like now looking back, all of our guys wear embroidered colored shirts when they're out there, and we try to keep our trucks as nice as possible, and we've got a good web presence, and people in the office to answer phones and try to be professional. Whereas even today, especially in San Diego County, there's not a lot of big companies, so it's a lot of small owner operators. But the fact that we have somebody answer the phone that's professional, we have computer systems, to manage our accounting and our schedules. I think I'd like to think we do things better than everybody else, and still always, like, it's not something that I'm ever satisfied with. Like, even if we did things better than anyone else today, I'm trying to compete with myself and figure out how we can do things better tomorrow still.
Yeah, and it's one thing understanding your competitors, and the other of understanding where you're at with your business too, because there's always room for those improvements. There's always room.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a testament, because I mean, you mentioned, I mean, at first, you wanted to do it by yourself, but 3 months in, you knew you had to have an employee, and here you are, 23 employees. Is that out in the field or also?
No, that's total.
Total,
so
yeah.
A couple people in the office, service technicians, managers, and repair technicians.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that's obviously just shows exactly the type of work ethic and process that you have for yourself for the business, because, to grow it from that point, and in the beginning, knowing that it wasn't something that you wanted to do with a lot of people, but like you said, it's a lot of more smaller business owners, pool service companies out there, but you got 23 employees.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to circle back. You just said something, Javier, that really I think is solid advice. I don't care who you are or where you're at in life. Compete against yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Try to do everything a little bit better each day.
Yeah. Exactly. It's so easy to be satisfied with everything, and just kind of like to preface this, I am satisfied, and sometimes people think, man, you're never happy. No, I'm always happy. I'm a very positive person, but I always challenge myself to do better, and and sometimes I challenge myself to do better, and we'll do something different, and it'd be a mistake, and then okay, that didn't work, but I don't. That's just an innate thing that I have. I just always been that way. How can I do this one thing better?
Absolutely. So in business right now, you might be on the top of the game, but there's always some new, younger, hungrier, whatever you want to call it, business that's watching you and your business.
Yes.
So if you don't continue to try to grow, compete, and get better, they're eventually going to pass you up.
Oh, definitely. And there's a trend going on in the industry right now, whereas I mentioned in San Diego County, most pool companies are smaller owner-operators, maybe one or two guys or just one person. But the private equity is coming into the business. And so there's companies that are coming in, buying businesses to try to make them bigger. I guess the money people figured that this is an underserved market, or industry rather, where there's really a lot of big upside potential, and the investment dollars are coming in now. So now there's a couple of companies in town that are all of a sudden popped up, and it's like, oh, holy crap! Now I went from competing with owner operators to like serious business people, and I have to continually step my game up.
Absolutely.
And fortunately, that's just how I'm wired. So I welcome that. But it's I guess when I was in my early 20s, I thought this would be easy. Easy, it's not. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's always that challenge, and there can always be that distraction when you start focusing on, other businesses, and obviously you have to be aware, of your surroundings and all that. But And that just shows a testament, obviously, with how big you've grown it, with the type of training that you have for your employees, the type of training that, I mean, you have with 30 years of experience, 35, excuse me, years of experience in the pool industry. What's a new, say a new employee coming into for Payan Pools, what's that process like and what's the training like?
So ideally, we like to hire people that don't have experience, because when we deal with people that have experience, they come with their bad habits. And that's not true in all cases. And we've made some great hires of just some turnkey guys that are just phenomenal. And but ideally, if we're hiring somebody brand new to the industry, really we look for attitude and the skills we can teach. And so normally that person, if he's applying for a pool cleaning position, eventually he's going to be out cleaning 65 to 70 pools a week. Now, that sounds like a lot, but, they're clean pools and they're tightly routed, so it's not like they're driving across town. He can have 5 pools on one street. And so typically when we hire someone, the first thing we do is we just have them shadow a guy for about 2 weeks. And then once he does that, we're going to find out if this is for him, and he's going to find out, or him and her or her are going to find out if that's for them. And then after that, then we start dialing it in. So one of the most crucial parts about cleaning pools is understanding the water chemistry, how to maintain sanitized water. So we really focus on that. And once they've worked for a couple of weeks, they start getting, how to vacuum a pool, how to work the equipment, the hoses, the vacuums, how to turn things on safely and turn things off safely. And of course, we have just this incredible support system. So we've amassed a massive database, like a photo database of all our job sites. So if somebody calls with a question on a job site, we just need to know where they are. We can, in a matter of a minute, recall all the photos from that job so we can guide him. Hey, that blue box with the red switch, or that white piece of pipe with the red handle on it, turn it this way. And so things are super efficient. So aside from just hiring someone and get them out in the field, the support is ongoing. Whereas I have some pool guys that I know say, hey, I just hired my first guy, I can relax now. So no, the fun just started. So you are now a California employer. So, but I think that one of the things we do really well is support our guys in the field, because even if they've been doing this 5 or 10 years, there's new stuff that pops up all the time. Yeah. And I think we have a lot of experience within our company, and a lot of talented people that can help guide them through whatever challenges they're going to face.
Because you might even have some new hires or employees that, like you said, that come with previous experience, whether it's from a different industry of like the trades or within the pool industry. I mean, within your experience, are there any other like trades skills that kind of tie into the pool service industry?
This is a really great industry, and I think that my drive to always learn new things, this is just a perfect fit for me, because I mentioned the water chemistry aspect of it. So that, incidentally, chemistry was not my number one topic at all in school. I think I was getting a solid D in that class for a while there. But so much of what we do is water chemistry, and that's like for a service tech, that's if you can get that down, then you're going to do really well. But also too, we also deal with pool pumps, and they could be 110 volts or 220 volts or 3-phase. We deal with gas heaters, natural gas, propane, electric heaters, and then we deal with low voltage and high voltage, low voltage, plumbing, all kinds of plumbing, all kinds of electrical. Right now, where the industry's at, if you have a pool and you have an automation system, you can control it with like your mobile phone.
I was just going to ask that. Yeah. Can you tell your jacuzzi to heat up because you're on your way home?
I can. Just give me a second. Let me fire it up. But the answer is yes. And so the thing is to take something as basic as cleaning a pool all the way out to turning things on with a mobile device, as you're driving down the road or, leaving the office, and all the things that have to happen to make that happen. That's all that in between. That's what we do. The pump's got to turn on, the valve's got to turn, the automation system's got to turn on, the heater's got to turn on to the set temperature. Pool pumps now are variable speed, so the speed has to be adjusted correctly. And with all those components, when something goes wrong, we know how to fix all that stuff. And it's just this is one of those industries that just has a vast skill set.
So that's also what you're talking about, Javier, is somebody coming into the industry. You're starting them off with how to clean a pool and some of the safety aspects to that. But the ability to continue to educate yourself in the plumbing, the electrical, the technology that we're starting to get with using Alexa and your phone to be able to do things remotely, the education level, you're getting a journeyman degree after a certain amount of time in pool management.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because, we're talking earlier about college. And I mentioned that I've had brothers and sisters that went to college. They took that route, and I didn't. And I think that as a society, we're really under-promoting the trades. And I think we're over-promoting school. And so what I see, now I'm 54 years old, and as I look backwards, I think as a society, we're really doing a disservice to young people by trying to funnel them into the school system, into college and that academia. And so many kids, unfortunately, get out with a degree that they're not using, and they're saddled with debt, $100,000, $200,000 that they're probably never going to pay off. And that's going to be a noose around their neck for the rest of their lives. Now, granted, if you want to be, if I'm going to the doctor, I want him to have gone to the best school and, that type of stuff. I want my accountant to have a business degree and so on. If I am ever in trouble and I got an attorney, I want to make sure he went to the best school possible. Yeah. And so, so there's a place for that. But I think as a society, when we corral everyone into the same, path, it's not for everybody. And I know it definitely wasn't for me. And it wasn't until later in life that I realized that, hey, there's nothing wrong with me that I didn't like school. I'd rather work. And fortunately, this industry has just been fantastic for me.
Yeah. Well, even all humans are wired a little bit differently. Some of us do good with textbooks. Some of us do good with visual connected to our hands. The
absolutely.
Learning process is different. Doesn't make you smarter or less smarter.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of going back to how society is, I think that that needs to be promoted. So what you guys are doing with this podcast, I think it's a really great idea because that's not a message that's being given out there. And ironically, I think, well, it's not what I think. I knew one of the executives from Manpower, it's a staffing agency. They came out with a report. And what I don't remember all the details of it, but I remember one thing that they said the money-making jobs of the future are going to be the trades. Because there's going to be a shortage of people getting into the trades, and there's going to be a high demand like we're seeing now. And, there's not a lot of young people getting into the trades, and that's where the money's going to be at. Now, computer programmers, dime a dozen. Digital marketing people, dime a dozen. Everyone is pursuing those paths, and they become oversaturated. And the trades, are going to be, in my opinion, I think the money-making jobs of the future.
Absolutely. I think National Home Builders Association posted just recently 490,000 current job openings in the construction industry right now.
Wow.
And that probably doesn't include the pool industry.
Sure.
Some of the plumbing industries, the ancillary construction industries that are out there. That's a home building industry.
I talked to my peers, and one of our subcontractors is one of the largest pool remodelers. They do mainly pool plaster. And when you go on a job site, and it could be construction, but in this case it's pool plastering, you go on a job site, you don't see any young people. And those guys that are doing all that heavy work, they're going to age out, and there's this big void that needs to be filled, and we're not seeing it being filled. One of the things I did, in my quote unquote free time is I'm part of this group called the Pool and Spa Apprenticeship Training Committee, and I kind of came in towards the end, so I'm not going to take credit for starting it, but a buddy of mine up in Northern California got the ball rolling on this, and he got the first step was to get the state of California to recognize a pool cleaner as a vocation. And by doing that, they're able to set up an apprenticeship program that's through one of the community colleges, and it's sanctioned by the state of California. And so the idea is to have a more of a formal training process. So when guys like myself hire new people, we can put them through a training program as an apprentice, and they can come out, with the certification from the state of California. It's the first time it's ever been done. So I've got 5 of my techs in there in the first cohort. And so, we're trying, because we also, like every other trade industry, there's a shortage of people coming in, and we need to get them up to speed as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Well, that also puts your company on a higher level of professionalism. You have 5 people who have gone through the training. The industry itself has an accreditation now for that. And that's really good to hear.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, the exposure to those type of education, like you said, that it's not being pushed through our education system right now, but the exposure behind it of being able to know that there are vocational schools that that have been recognized by the state of California now. That's super important for a lot of people to understand. And if that's happening in other states, I don't know. But if that is, then that's exactly what the industry on the pool side of things really would need.
Yeah. So this program is the first of its kind in the state of California, and it also got approved as a national certification. And our committee, we've been getting inquiries from people in Arizona, Nevada, Texas, like Florida. Hey, are you guys doing this here? It's like, well, we just got this thing started, but yeah, we'd like to take this nationwide, because there's a massive opportunity. And again, if somebody wants to get into this industry, this is a great path to start.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And can you shout that name out again real quick?
Yeah. It's called PSATC, which is the Pool and Spa Apprenticeship Training Committee.
Okay. Awesome. And then how about, like, obviously, there's certain industries that end up being dangerous, and we've had a lot of people go through saying that, there's a lot of safety programs through OSHA, through so many different safety programs that their employees either go through, their supervisors go through. I know that through many years that pools have always had the kind of a big safety magnifying glass on top of it. Are there any processes that you go through with your employees about some safety measures?
So when you say safety, my mind goes into 2 different directions. Is it workplace safety or pool safety in general?
Well, if you touch base on both through the company,
sure.
It'd be good to let everybody know about it.
So in the past, there has not been a lot of emphasis on workplace safety, other than like with us, our guys are covered under our work comp policy, and we're trying to always on our own, try to make sure they're doing things safely. And there are some chemical safety courses, how to install, how to dose pools with chemistry, with chemicals that can harm you, and use it safely, because we deal with a lot of harsh chemicals. But also, too, through the apprenticeship training program, there's, I think it was like a OSHA 10 certification. So, and I don't have that because I never knew about it. But our 5 apprentices that went through the program got OSHA certified. And so we have an instructor out of Florida that does it for us. And so that's part of the training program. And on the pool safety part of it, kind of like, this is what I do for a living. This is how I make my livelihood. But I think, we all, whatever we do, have kind of a moral obligation to, conduct ourselves and be part of the community, and conduct ourselves in the best possible way. So I've done a lot of stuff with promoting pool safety with some drowning prevention organizations and over the past. And again, it's like, yes, this is how I make my money. This is how I support myself and my family. But, if we can use our business or our trade to promote the safe use of this product, I mean, even better,
Yeah. Yeah, and you said it was an association that you're part of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I belong to a lot of different associations. So one of them is IPSA, which stands for the Independent Pool Spa Services Association, and also to kind of getting back to like the more overall stuff. I never looked at like I'm just going to do this to make money. Mm-hmm. I always wanted to, in some way, give back to our industry. So through that organization, there's some education stuff, and it's basically a group of industry guys that are in a chapter, and we always, try to focus on education. And through that organization, we partner up with other drowning prevention organizations like the National Drowning Prevention Alliance or Save Kids Coalition, or some local swim classes out here that we donate money to help get kids through some swim lessons. And then also, too, there's an organization called the Association of Pool and Spa Professionals. I'm currently the president of the San Diego County chapter, and they went through a merge. Now it's called the PHTA, which stands for the Pool and Hot Tub Alliance, which is a national organization. And again, I think the emphasis on it, I know I mentioned this before, but I don't look at it like this is just my job that I'm going to go do and go home at 4 or 5 o'clock. I love this industry. I love giving back to it. And I think when you take that approach, and not just like this is how can I make a fast buck or get a paycheck and get on with my life, which is fine. My approach has always been, how can I make this not only my company better, but how can we make the industry better, so that when people think about it, like people like Jeff don't think about the pool boy without the shirt. I think there's something going on there, Jeff. But we want him to
too many movies.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm coming in here with a polo shirt that's embroidered, and I want him to think of our industry as professional people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in the end, when you're part of those associations, those part of those groups, and you have your employees, obviously they're tied to the business and they're tied to those associations.
Absolutely, and I tell you, I've had some one-on-ones with our employees, and they've said, unsolicited, of course, say, hey, look, we really like working with you because you really care. You care about me. You care about this industry. You're not just out here to rip people off. You treat people fair, and whether they're your customers or your employees, and they appreciate that. So they come to work every day and give me their blood, sweat, and tears, and show up to work every day with their hopes and dreams. And we have to, be responsible employers and provide a good wage, provide a good livelihood for them. So, one, they come back to work every day, but also, two, that they can live out their dreams.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's a certain fulfillment that comes behind that.
Right.
That you being the entrepreneur that you said you started working at 14, and getting that permission from family members to know that it's okay to not go through a certain path that other family members may have been going through, and to get to where you are today. You should be super proud of yourself, for one thing, because not everybody has that same story. Not everybody has that one story that they can bring to the table and let everybody know that if anybody out there right now that's listening is in that same spot, they have those opportunities that they can go through.
Absolutely. And also, too, again, as I get older, I reflect a lot more and look back. But yeah, I wish that back when I was that young, thinking, hey, there's something wrong with me because I don't like school, I wish there was someone saying, hey, that's okay. Like, that's not the only path. There's many paths you can take to be successful, whether it's financially or just personal satisfaction. And you got to do what is right for you and what feels good, and find out what your passion is and follow that dream.
Yeah, absolutely, that's right. Follow the dream. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know exactly what you're passing up on if you don't take that leap.
Yeah. And it's scary, of course, but it's I guess courage is not being scared. It's being scared, but still, moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what a lot of the generation needs today, is knowing that it's okay to move forward with whatever choice you might go with. If it's your passion, if it's your something that you want to try out, jump into it. Talk to Javier.
Absolutely.
If you're trying to come into the pool industry, he's a great pioneer in the industry, 35 years in the industry of the pool industry. Javier Payan, it was great to have you on the show. It was great.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
I really appreciate it. Javier, you're definitely an example of a true professional. And I think we're lucky to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. And then if anybody's trying to get into the pool industry, reach out to you. I give you a call or email, anything that you want to provide them. What's the best way we can reach out to you?
Our business line is 619-449-1392. Our website is payanpools.com, real simple. And my email is javier@payanpools.com.
Awesome. Reach out to Javier, get to know him. You can look on the website, got some great information. And this was the Trades Podcast. I'm DJ Danny.
And I'm Jeff Mudd.
And we appreciate you listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Javier.